Okay, Leo, quick question. You're at a coffee shop. The barista tells you the total is $9 for one latte. What do you say?
Wow, that's very expensive?
Okay, that's grammatically correct. But here's the thing, a native speaker almost never says very expensive in casual conversation. It sounds stiff, like you're reading from a textbook. So today, we're going to give you the real, natural alternatives, the idioms that native speakers use when they talk about money. And Leo, by the end of this episode, you are going to sound completely different.
I love it. Let's do it.
Hey everyone, welcome to Speak Like a Native. I'm Maya.
And I'm Leo. Today is all about money idioms, which honestly I need, because when I try to complain about a price in English, I always just say too expensive or very expensive.
And that works, technically, but it doesn't make you sound like a local native speakers use idioms to add color, emotion, and personality. Money idioms are some of the most common ones, and today we're covering 3: cost an arm and a leg, break the bank, and on a shoestring. Let's start with the big one.
I've heard cost an arm and a leg before, but I've never actually used it. I'm afraid I'll say it wrong.
That is exactly why we're doing this episode. So here's the image. Imagine literally giving up your arm and your leg to pay for something. That's how expensive it is. You'd have to sacrifice your own body parts. So when something costs an arm and a leg, it means it's extremely shockingly expensive.
Okay, so I can use it for anything expensive, like a new car?
Absolutely. Or a designer handbag, a 5-star hotel room, a concert ticket, anything that feels outrageously priced. Let me give you an example. Imagine your friend just came back from a trip.
Oh, I went to that resort in the Maldives. It was incredible.
Wait, wasn't that place super expensive?
Yeah, it cost an arm and a leg, but it was worth it.
Perfect. Now you try. Tell me about something you bought recently that felt way too expensive.
Okay, I bought a new phone last month, and honestly, it cost an arm and a leg.
Nice. But let me add one thing. Native speakers often say it in the past tense too. It cost me an arm and a leg. Or you can say, I paid an arm and a leg for it. Both are natural.
I paid an arm and a leg for my new phone.
Yes, exactly. Now, here's a common mistake I hear from learners. Some people say, it costs an arm and a leg, and they stress the word arm too much like they're counting body parts.
Wait, how do you stress it wrong?
Like this. It cost an arm and a leg. That sounds like you're listing body parts. Native speakers say it like one smooth phrase. It cost an arm and a leg. It all blends together. Try it with me.
Cost an Amanda leg.
Much better. Now, let me tell you something interesting. This idiom, cost an arm and a leg, it's very American, but British speakers use a similar one, cost a bomb. So if you hear that in a movie from the UK, that's what it means.
Cost a bomb. I like that too. So cost an arm and a leg is for anything crazy expensive?
Yes, but there's a smaller, more specific idiom for something that is expensive but maybe not body part expensive.
Oh, there's a level system?
Haha, kind of. There's also break the bank. This one is for when something costs more than you plan to spend. It doesn't have to be $1 million. It just has to be more than your budget. Imagine you're shopping for a new sofa.
Okay, I'm imagining.
You see a beautiful one, it's $800. Your budget was $500. You say, I really want this sofa, but $800 will break the bank.
So break the bank means ruin my budget?
Exactly. It can be literal, like if you spend so much money that your bank account is empty. Or it can be figurative, like you're just trying not to spend too much. And there's a very common negative form.
Negative form?
Yes, it won't break the bank. That means it's affordable, it's not too expensive. For example, let's go out for dinner tonight. That little Italian place won't break the bank.
Oh, so I can say it won't break the bank to mean it's reasonable?
Perfect. That is very natural. Native speakers use the negative form all the time. We should get a hotel near the airport. It won't break the bank. Or, I'm thinking about getting a new laptop. The one I found won't break the bank.
Okay, now I want a third one. You mentioned on a shoestring.
This one is my favorite because it's the opposite of cost an arm and a leg. When you do something on a shoestring, it means you do it with very little money. You're being very careful with your spending.
On a shoestring. Like on a really tight budget?
Exactly. A shoestring is a thin piece of string that you use to tie your shoes. So imagine your budget is as thin as a shoestring, very small, very limited. So you might say, we traveled through Europe on a shoestring.
So that means we stayed in cheap hostels and ate street food?
Exactly. Or, I started my business on a shoestring. That means you had almost no money to start. You were very frugal. You reused everything. You made it work with almost nothing.
I love that. I always thought shoestring was just part of a shoe.
That's what most learners think. And that's exactly why this idiom is so useful. Because it's surprising. It creates a visual image. And here's the twist. You can also use shoestring as an adjective. Shoestring budget.
Shoestring budget.
Yes, we're on a shoestring budget. That's extremely common. Our company is running on a shoestring budget.
Okay, let me try to use all three in one story.
Oh, I want to hear this.
Okay, so last year I went on a vacation. I was on a shoestring budget, so I stayed in the tiny room. But then I saw this amazing guided tour. It cost an arm and a leg. I wanted to take it, but it would break the bank. So I said no.
That was beautiful. You used all three perfectly in one story. And you know what? That's exactly how native speakers do it. We mix them, we use them naturally.
So when I go back to that coffee shop and the latte is $9, what do I say?
You can say, $9? That's going to break the bank. Or, $9. That costs an arm and a leg. Both work. But here's a tip if you want to sound really natural. Use break the bank more often in everyday situations. Cost an arm and a leg is for bigger, more dramatic expenses.
Got it. So the $9 latte is break the bank. The $20,000 vacation is cost an arm and a leg.
Exactly. Now, I want to share one more thing. A mistake I hear from many learners around the world. Spanish speakers sometimes say, cuesto enojo de la cara, which means it costs an eye from your face. And they directly translate it to it costs an eye.
And does that work in English?
No, it doesn't. Native speakers will not understand you. You have to say cost an arm and a leg. The body parts are specific, arm and leg, not an eye, not a finger, arm and leg.
And what about Chinese speakers? Do they have a similar idiom?
Interesting question. In Chinese, there's an idiom that means cutting meat, something that hurts your wallet. But again, the direct translation doesn't work in English. You have to learn the English version. It cost an arm and a leg.
So there is no shortcut. You just have to memorize the English idiom.
Yes. But here's the good news. Once you learn it, you will hear it everywhere. In movies, in TV shows, in conversations between native speakers. It's extremely common.
All right, I'm ready for the practice round.
Great. I'm going to describe a situation. You tell me which idiom to use. Ready?
Ready.
Situation 1. You and your friend want to go see a concert. The tickets are $400 each. Your friend says, I only have $200 for fun this month. Which idiom do you use?
$400 will break the bank.
Perfect. Situation 2. Your neighbor just bought a brand new sports car. It's the most expensive model. You ask him, how much did that cost? What phrase do you use?
That must have cost an arm and a leg.
Beautiful. Situation 3. You just graduated from university and you're starting a small online store. You have very little money. How do you describe your business?
I'm starting my business on a shoestring.
You nailed all three. Now I want to add one final expression that ties everything together. When you hear someone say, I'm on a tight budget, that's the more formal version of on a shoestring. But on a shoestring is more colorful, more memorable, and it makes you sound like you grew up speaking English.
Maya, I have a confession. Before this episode, I never used any of these idioms in real conversation. I was too scared.
And now?
Now I feel like I can use them. I just need to practice.
And that's exactly the goal. Practice is everything. So here's your challenge for this week. The next time you buy something, anything, the next time you pay a bill or see a price tag, try to say one of these idioms out loud. Even if you're alone, even if you're just mumbling it to yourself, say, wow, that costs an arm and a leg, or this won't break the bank. Say it out loud. Your brain will start to remember it.
I will do that.
And listeners, if you want to make sure you remember all three, here's a quick trick. Cost an arm and a leg. Think of a dramatic sacrifice. Break the bank. Think of a piggy bank shattering on a shoestring. Think of a thin, tiny string holding your money together. 3 images, 3 idioms.
3 images. I'm writing those down.
Before we go, I want to thank you for listening to Speak Like a Native. We create these episodes to help you sound more natural, more confident, and less like a textbook. If this episode helped you, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment telling us what is the most expensive thing you've ever bought. Did it cost an arm and a leg?
I'm going to answer that in the comments right now. For me, it was my laptop. It definitely cost an arm and a leg.
And listeners, we want to hear from you. Practice makes permanent. Use these idioms and you will sound like a native before you know it.
Thanks, Maya. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
See you next time. Keep speaking like a native.